I was just watching this new Umar Johnson and Breakfast Club interview, and he's back with more lies, perpetuating this scam, completely unchecked on the Breakfast Club. And that led me down a rabbit hole where I discovered Umar Johnson accidentally admitted and confessed that he stole $250,000 of the donors' money on the Breakfast Club. And that led me to ask, if Umar Johnson has been as open and bold and blatant with this scam as you can be, then isn't the Breakfast Club at least culpable? Isn't the Breakfast Club at least accountable for this scam as well? Aren't they just as guilty as Umar Johnson? Umar Johnson's last interview with the Breakfast Club before this one was about 3 or 4 years ago. And that's because Umar Johnson said he's not going back on the Breakfast Club until the school is complete, because he don't want to go back on and they ask him about the school and he don't have an update. So I guess in Umar Johnson's world, like, the school is completed. So he's back on the Breakfast Club with more cap and more excuses as to why he don't have an exact opening date yet for the school. And I'm watching this, and I'm watching how Charlamagne the God and everybody is making excuses for this man.
Frederick Douglass's birthday, we completed the renovations at FDMG, so we completely done.
So the school is done.
School is done.
Congratulations.
We're just trying to get an inspection now.
You know what I find interesting, Dr. Umar? People like to say you a scammer, right? And I say Dr. Umar has the school. The school is there.
I don't mind the allegations,
I've
but
seen
show
the
proof.
renovations. But the school is there. They can't say you didn't use the money
for 7
to
years.
buy the building, to renovate it, and all of that type of stuff. But
we can no longer give the Breakfast Club the excuse of being naive and not knowing what's going on, because they continue to provide alibi for this man every interview. And it's been about 10 years now. Charlamagne the God says he don't understand why people will call Umar Johnson a scammer if he actually bought the schools in 2019. Well, the schools are not open up yet. And let's do some quick math, right? Because apparently math is hard for a lot of people. Umar Johnson bought this school for $400,000 in 2019. Let's do some quick math. Umar Johnson bought the school in 2019 for $400,000. In 2015, Umar Johnson told Charlamagne the God to his face that he raised $500,000 in 1 year for the school.
So, for example, we're talking about my fundraiser for the school, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say one of these, and I hope they do write a check. You know what I mean? These rappers.
Macklemore comes to you and says, I'm going to give you $2 million, and I got 500 gay kids that I want to enroll in your school, Dr. Umar. What do you do?
He going to have to put that check in another name. Give me that $2 million. But no, seriously, we need, if you want to donate to the fundraiser, you go to GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar, GoFundMe.com/DRUMAR. Now, when you look on the GoFundMe, we only raised $160, but most of my donations have been mail-in checks and money orders. People don't trust the internet.
GoFundMe.
So, but we raised $500,000 in a year.
That's great.
But the problem with that, if we only raising $500,000 a year and the school costs $2 million.
You got about 4 years.
Thank you. That school ain't gonna be
Somebody
around in
could
4
buy
years.
that, yeah.
So I need a check. I need a check. I need Jay-Z. I need that check. Puff, I know you listening, Puff.
Oh yeah,
all my
watching you
rappers
on
out
Revolt
there.
TV right now.
I need that check.
It's gonna be hard.
And we tax exempt, so they can write it off on their taxes. Help me get this school so we can give our boys a new reality.
If that man raised $500,000 in 2015, how much total you think Umar Johnson has raised a decade later? We're in 2026, and he hasn't stopped raising money? How much you think he raised in this decade if he raised $500,000 in 2015? Right? Now, the last number, the ballpark, was like $2 or $3 million. So if Umar Johnson spent $400,000 on a school in 2019, you don't think it's appropriate to ask, where did all the other money go? Why the school isn't open up yet? Why the doors ain't open? What's going on? Why did it take you a decade? Now, these people are not naive to this. They know exactly what's going on, because a lot of the proof and evidence that people got against Umar Johnson comes from Breakfast Club clips, where he's telling them the information. And they've been being given a runaround for a while now, too. For a while now. So when Umar Johnson comes on a Breakfast Club and he says, oh, the school is complete, if this is needed and this is needed, we can have it up by 2027. I'm like, where's the pushback? Why is nobody pushing back against this man?
I'm glad we went the way that we went. It's the first school in American history built exclusively by donations from African people from around the world. Every single continent, nearly every country donated to FDMG.
So what are you going to be opening the doors where students can start?
Well, we got to get a certificate of occupancy. I can't answer that. You feel me? That see, it's always something holding me. If we had it right now, I'm confident we can start August, not this year because you only got a few months, but of 2027. You feel me? But the question becomes, here we go again. We're completely done. How long before you give us our paper so we can start planning for the children? I can't answer that.
They offer no pushback. Like they just accepted it as if this was normal. So why not announce the school is finished or the school is done once the school is ready to open up? Once you actually have students, have a curriculum, you have teachers, you have a staff, you have a nurse. Why not announce it when the school is actually about to open up? But you're announcing this when you finished renovations on the school. Like, isn't that like the bare minimum? Like the school should be, like people should be able to come into school without dying of renal diseases. Like, shouldn't that be the bare minimum? But he's talking about opening up the school because I guess he claims renovations are done, even though it has not been like deemed safe yet for occupancy. And I was expecting them to at least give pushback on this particular thing because he's been giving them the runaround for a decade. In 2021, Umar Johnson told the Breakfast Club the school only needed 3 weeks of repair to open up and that it was black people's fault for not stepping up to get the repair done for them.
Now, last time you were up here, we were talking about your school and the school that you opened.
FDMG Academy.
The Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. It's a bittersweet report, brothers, because let me make it real simple so y'all can understand this. We have two schools, right? They look across the street at one another. The Marcus Garvey building is the elementary school and the Frederick Douglass building is much larger. It's the high school. Now, we're focusing on the Garvey building right now, right? If you were to say, how soon can that building be ready? It can be ready in 3 weeks. We only have 3 weeks worth of repairs, 3 weeks worth of HVAC, 3 weeks worth of electric, 3 weeks worth of plumbing. So if, hypothetically speaking, if a black tradesman, a black HVACer said, I'm going to come volunteer, I'm going to fix the system, you have to pay for all of the materials, but I'm going to donate my time. If an electrician, if a plumber said, we're going to donate our time to fix the system, but you have to pay for all the material, the school would be up and running in 3 weeks. That's all we have. The problem is, Charlamagne and Envy, is I haven't come across black folks who are willing to donate their time. That's one. So we have to raise enough money to pay market rate for those repairs. So the HVAC, the bills that I'm getting are ranging from $250 on up. The plumbing, the bills I'm getting are ranging from like $150 on up. You see, so we have to raise about $300,000 just to handle that. Where if we had some black folk who was willing to donate their time, the school would be up and running in 3 weeks.
I'm not gonna bother even touching on the fact that the school costs $400,000. If you raised, let's say conservatively, over $1 million, if you raise $500,000 in 1 year in 2015, then you've probably raised over $1 million in a decade. Then why didn't you have enough for the $300,000 of repairs? You will still have over $300,000 left if that's the case, right? But besides that, so Charlamagne the guy in the Breakfast Club heard that explanation, and you know what they did? They told their huge audience to go and donate to Umar Johnson some more. Give him more of your dollars.
I wonder if they change their perspective of how they look at this, right? Like you bought the building, but I would look at it like a startup.
Outright, we own it, no mortgage.
Yeah, I would look at it like it's a startup. And this is what
and
you're
they're
doing.
in good shape.
Yeah.
The schools they're modern, they're not old. This was a charter school that was renovated at the tune of $13 million back in 2010. This is 2021. The school is only 10, 11 years old. They are modern. They're in good shape. The only thing we have to do is the plumbing, the electric, and the HVAC. We don't have to do no new construction. It's only repair. And that's why it's so frustrating for me, because it's only 3 weeks worth of repairs, not a month, not a year, 3 weeks worth of repairs and the school could be up and running. So if I were Mexican, the school be done. If I were Chinese, the school be done. If I was East Indian, if I was Arab, if I was European Jew, if I was Italian, the school be done. It's only because it's us that we don't take something like this as serious.
So it's like raising money in another round for a startup company.
Raising the money in another round for like a startup company.
Well, tell them what they send donations.
Well, the donation should go to cash.me/FDMG school.
If he comes on in 2015 or 2016 and he tells your audience about this grand project and this grand thought idea, and you tell your audience to donate, that's one thing. But when you're about 6, 7, 8 years in, and you're realizing that nothing is coming to fruition and people are already throwing out scam allegations, is it really appropriate to tell your audience to continue to donate? Is it appropriate to continue to co-sign this and be in like alibi for legitimacy when everything we've seen prove is not legitimate? That's 2021. Umar Johnson came back in 2022 and told them everything is done. Everything is done. All right? That they're weeks away from opening up the school. This was 2022.
And first things first, man, congrats on the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. I've been paying attention. I see that you got the building.
Yes, sir.
You've been doing renovations on the building. I saw you put the HVAC in, all kind of other stuff.
We're just about done. Electric is awaiting a permit. HVAC is awaiting controls. They're actually at the school right now. Plumbing is just about done. They got one more piece. Fire alarm is done. They got to check one more piece to that. The monitoring system is done. I'm hoping by the end of the calendar year we can get our inspection and have a grand opening in February, hopefully.
And you got to get accreditation too, or?
Nah, well, your accreditation comes from the state.
Got you.
So it's the state that gives you the license to operate. Mm-hmm. If you want accreditation beyond that, you can seek out professional accreditation bureaus, but that's not legally required.
Man, why don't you talk about that more, Dr. Umar, especially being that they tried to clown you for so long about, not having the school?
I don't mind that because if you know that your mission is genuine, it's no need to respond to the negativity because at some day, the fruit of your works will manifest.
Ooh.
You follow?
Yeah,
so
speak for
my
themselves,
thing is, why argue when you know one day they're going to see the school?
Now, talking about the process, because it was a long process.
It was a very long process.
Trials and tribulations
Yes, sir.
and hurdles. So
yes, sir.
Talk about that a little bit and what you had to get through and also getting funding.
Yes, sir.
They're discussing the school as if it's done. Talk about the hurdles, man. You guys had to go through now that it's finally over with. Oh, we only got this little plumbing stuff, this little painting stuff done. This was 2022, 4 years later. 4 years later, the school still isn't open up yet. What's even worse about that particular interview is if they had a listening ear for objectivity and a listening ear to actually spot something wrong and actually give pushback, they would realize that Umar Johnson damn near admitted to his scam in their faces. So Umar Johnson gets to talking about how, oh man, he had to overcome this and this and this, and how, he talked these folks down from 2 million down to this. So Umar Johnson breaks down how he talked these folks down from wanting $2 million, all right, to what he bought it for, which was $400,000. But then Umar Johnson slips up and accidentally exposes himself.
He took our first donation in St. Louis 2014. We heard about the St. Paul's College, which was an HBCU closed in Virginia. Mm-hmm. They wanted $2 million, so we tried to raise it as quickly as we can. That was a bit ambitious. We didn't succeed. Mm-hmm. It was sold to an Asian company. Unfortunately, an HBCU sold to another race, I think is a great disappointment for us as a people. So then we just started looking for a day school. So I went to Chicago, Detroit, Florida, Ohio, all over the country. I was just flying, looking for a school. Mm-hmm. And then in 2017, I was on LoopNet, which was my main source of new property, and I saw this campus in Wilmington, Delaware, that I had heard about but never had a chance to see. So I'm on my way to Nat Turner celebration, August 21st, 2017, the Great North American Eclipse. I stopped, I saw the campus, I said, this looks pretty nice. When I got back from Nat Turner, I had to go to Cuba first to get my Ifa initiation. I practiced Yoruba spirituality. Came back from Cuba, and I got a chance to go into the school, and I saw it. I said, we want this school, but they wanted $2 million. We couldn't afford that. We only had $500,000.
Wait, what? Yo, pay attention to what this man just said. And if you're smart enough, you've already caught on. You've already caught on to how he just exposed himself.
And I got a chance to go into the school, and I saw it. I said, we want this school, but they wanted $2 million. We couldn't afford that. We only had $500,000. Mm-hmm. So I negotiated with them from August of 17 until February of 19, and they finally decided to sell us the building for the money that we had.
When you let them talk long enough, they're going to snitch on themselves. Umar Johnson just said he only had $500,000 in 2019 when he bought the school. However, Umar Johnson raised $500,000 his first year in 2015. If you raised $500,000 in 2015 and you kept fundraising, then how do you only have $500,000 left to spend in 2019? You would have had to misappropriate that money. You would have had to use up a lot of that money on yourself. It gets even worse, okay? 3 years prior in 2019, that interview was from 2022, when Umar Johnson admitted he had $500,000 left to spend in 2019, he said that in 2022. Well, in 2019, when Umar Johnson was talking to Charlamagne the God about the school, Umar Johnson told Charlamagne the God that he has raised up to $750,000 up until that point. That was 2019. That would mean that if Umar Johnson only had $500,000 left to spend, then Umar Johnson would have used up $250,000 on himself.
So everyone listening, make sure you donate. Go to my website, drumarjohnson.com. Go to your Cash App and donate $FDMG School. I repeat, $FDMG School on the Cash App. We need $1 million to restore the whole campus.
I'm glad that happened because I remember people was giving you so much flack. It was like Dr. Umar collected all this money. The school never manifested, so I'm glad that you.
Well, the interesting thing about that is $750,000, and y'all know this, is not a lot of money for a commercial property. $750,000 to purchase a school. For a school.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah,
And the interesting thing about that is $750,000, and y'all know this, is not a lot of money for a commercial property. $750,000 to purchase a school. For a school.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
That's Umar Johnson admitting they raised $750,000 up until that point. And I still believe that number is a low ball. But if we believe Umar Johnson and take him at his word, he raised $750,000, but he only had $500,000 left when it was time to buy the school.
And I got a chance to go into the school, and I saw it. I said, we want this school, but they wanted $2 million. We couldn't afford that. We only had $500,000. So I negotiated with them from August of 17 until February of 19, and they finally decided to sell us the building for the money that we had.
Wow.
Where did the $250,000 go? I want to know the answer to that. And if we don't get the answer to that, the Breakfast Club is just as guilty as Umar Johnson, because the Breakfast Club has told people to donate. They continue to promote this man. This is just sad, man. Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this? And if you're still watching this video and you want to watch another video, then click on this video here somewhere on my screen, here, to find out how this Tommy G Hood vlog just ruined this famous rapper's life. Is really terrible. It's really bad. And if you enjoyed this video, click the like button. And after you click the like button, click the hype button that follows up afterwards to push my videos in the algorithm for me. It's the best way to push my videos. Please, I really appreciate it. It's 100% free. I'm going to see you guys in this Tommy G and this famous rapper video. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.